other people, and then the person who is speaking, please join for answering, and then you will be in the speaker view. The first question I have for Stacy is, please introduce yourself, showing where you were from, and then how long you have been in Portland, and how you are connected with the Portland Bihar, or how you are connected with Brazil. So that way, this is the beginning of the question. Just give it about like a 3-4 minute timing. So not too long, you just make it short, and then I can elaborate later on. So please introduce yourself, showing where you are from, and how long you have been in Portland, and how you connected with Bihar or with Brazil. So this is a short question. Please go ahead. It's your turn.
Okay, thank you. Okay, my name is Anastasia Roderick, and I came to Portland in 1976 from California, where I was born, where I'm from. And I started coming to the temple in 2015 because I didn't know there was a Nepal temple in Portland, but I actually felt the earthquake in Portland in April 25th. So it took me till October to find the temple, but when I found the temple, I was happy to be there. I felt like it was important. I feel some connection to Kathmandu for some reason. So I feel incredibly fortunate to be able to go to the temple and meet Prajal and everybody who's from Nepal. It's a huge honor to practice with you. And that's how I came. The earthquake brought me, literally.
So you said that the earthquake happened in 2015, brought you to connect with the Bihara. And then after joining with the Bihara, so did you realize that this Buddhism or this kind of a gathering is very unique, or maybe you have seen in other places? So how do you evaluate that, what you have seen at the first time and until now you have been so much connected, and then what you have seen the difference compared to the other gatherings?
Okay, so before finding the Vihara, I was practicing at the Soto Zen tradition, which is Mahayana. And so coming to the temple is like a treasure. The Dharma is yoga, and it's embodied yoga. So it's not really only just the practice, but I find the culture and the people to be embodying the Dharma. So I know it's a treasure, and it's just, I just feel so like honored to be able to understand it, through the library, and all the reading and education. It's really special Dharma.
So have you noticed that this Buddhism, what we are practicing right now in Portland, Bihar, is this something different than what you have seen in other places?
Of course, it's very different. And it's hard to take other things in after being at the temple, honestly, because I don't want to use the word pedagogy, but honestly, it's just the way things are done. It's the way that I feel that is the right way for things to be. So I just want to be supportive and help it exist, because I know it's endangered culture, and I understand that.
So we have been in some kind of unknown kind of a world we have, because when we say Nepalese Buddhism, probably you may not have heard that before in the past. So the Buddhism, what you have seen in the East, in the West side of the world, is probably about only, the Buddhism you are learned from the Tibet side only. But this one is typically, when we say the Nepalese Buddhism, I mean, there is no other Buddhism similar to, the Tibetan Buddhism. So this is we call the Nepalese Buddhism. You can find only the Newah Buddhism. So when I use the word Newah, what do you think about this? Is this something, is it something strange? Is it something that you never knew before, or what is that?
Okay, when I think of Newah Buddhism, I think of the mother of Buddhism. I think the mother culture, and I feel like all the Tibetans would honor and respect the Newahs because of the history and the facts. So I admire the Tibetan traditions, and I follow the older monasteries, but the manuscripts that have gone through Kathmandu are the ones that have been translated. So why not just, once you realize, then I mean, there's nowhere else to go. So simple.
So what about we do the chanting, and what about we read the text? It all looks like in an unfamiliar language, right? But when you look at the Tibetan text, and they are chanting in their own language, but we the people speak a Newah language, but we don't use the Newah language in a text and in chanting. What do you think about that?
Well, I think that all the wisdom, all the ancient wisdom of Buddhism has come through not just the Sanskrit, but the Pali, but the voice. And so I feel like the Sanskrit is more, even in the Dharani chanting especially, I feel the Dharani is very connected to the core of the Dharma. And it's in the, so to be able to be around Newah people who are chanting it, I don't know why I would ever be anywhere else.
So you being so much connected with Bihar, what would you like to give a message to the Newah people who are not too much, dedicated to spread out this?
Oh, it's easy for me. I mean, it's a treasure. It's a valuable treasure. And honestly, I have to participate just to, I feel like I'm participating so that others might not have the time, but we have to hold it in our bodies. So I'm happy to do that, but it's a treasure. It's a valuable treasure. And I it's not my treasure, but I'm happy to hold it. So,
okay, thank you for giving.
It's the Newah people's treasure.
Thank you for giving us the time to ask you some questions. So down the road, when we have more questions, we will do it again with you. And your contribution to today's interview, for your answers, will be more valuable for the people who are listening, and also for when we do the writing. So it will be spread out almost everywhere. Well, not only for the Newah people and also for the non-Newah people around the world. It will be documented in the universities, and whoever is scholars, so they will use this one. Your comment is very valuable for me. I would like to thank you very much on behalf of the Newah Beacon team. So thank you, and we'll see you again. Thank you. Now the next interview is Matt, please.
Hi.
Hello, Matt. So, hi, how are you? This is Daya Shakya speaking from Portland. I hope you are also from Portland. The same way what I asked to Stacy is about the question is, please introduce yourself, showing where you were from and then how long you have been in Portland and how you got connected with the Portland Bihara Niti Mandala Mahabihara, or connected with the Prajola. So because of the Prajola, so that's why you are connected, and you have been chanting, you have been participating in all the activities. So please give your short introduction and add a little more. So within 5 minutes time for you, please.
Okay. So I'm from Louisiana. I moved to Portland 5 years ago, and I came for a weekend retreat to see Keith Dowman in 2016. I signed up for the mailing list, and I saw that there was a fire puja happening. And so I ended up coming. I think my first practice with Bourgeois was the 7th anniversary of the temple, and it was something that just blew my mind. Like, I had never experienced anything like that before. Like Stacia, I had been practicing with a Zen group, but I had never seen or experienced anything like that before. And to this day, I still consider, I have a deep connection with Keith Dowman and Bourgeois. So I've got some great teachers, great Dharma teachers from going to, from coming to this temple.
Thank you. Looks like it was some kind of all of a sudden this happened, and then you came to Bihara, and then you saw the fire ritual going on the 7th anniversary of the consecration of the Bihara. So at that moment, what you were thinking about? Wow, look at that! Is that the people doing this kind of ritual somewhere at the part of the world, or maybe maybe it's natural, or maybe something different? So what made you, thinking about at that moment when you were inside the temple at the time doing the puzzle, the prior ritual at the time? We call it Homo Puja. So what made you think of that at that moment? What was your impression when you saw that?
I was pretty ill at the time, and so I think it had cleansed a lot of negativity out at that time. And one thing that struck me right away was all the statues. So it wasn't just the community. There was this like just these beautiful people interacting with each other. I hadn't experienced a culture like that before. It seemed like a lot of a big family getting together, and then there was just so much reverence for. I'm looking at all the statues behind Bourgeois right now, but he takes care of the statues as if they're children, you know. And it's I don't know, the care for the temple, the way that people interact with each other, and I don't. There was something just about something. There's something about the practice.
So have you heard about this kind of a Buddhism also exists in the world? Because a lot of people do not know what is the Nepalese Buddhism means. But most of the time in the Western side, a lot of people, they go to a monastery or maybe Japanese temple or maybe some other places. Sometimes you can also see that the yellow robe, Buddhist monks, and they don't see, this kind of rituals over there. But when you see this kind of complicated type of the Buddhism practicing in the Buddhist temple in the Nitya-mandala Mahavihara with the puzzle, I think, have you thought about, is this some kind of Buddhist ritual, or maybe you have thought about something else? Wow, maybe something different.
I had never heard of Nepalese Buddhism before. I'd never heard of Newah Buddhism. This wasn't anything I considered on my radar. It was very striking.
I'm impressed that you have seen this, Buddhism is something different than what you have seen before. So probably from this, from this being associated with the temple and also with the people. So, I mean, we do the chanting, we do the arati, we do the nitya puja, all these things is our daily life, What do you think about all these things is happening? Because this is the part of the life we have. Do you think you will be able to continue, or maybe you are here for just for maybe temporary basis, or what did you gain from coming to connection with this temple?
Oh, it's definitely mind training. I've learned a lot of focus. I've gained a lot of compassion for myself. I've actually learned to bring a lot of space into my life. So like the twin pillars, just compassion and wisdom. Like I try and work on compassion every day, but I feel like these texts and the chantings, they really help to establish some kind of wisdom. And I mean, I want to say again, like I think there's something special about Bourgeois, and there's something special about this group. So I feel really lucky to have met him. So he's great.
So when your friends found out that you have been attending this temple and you have been in contact with the Bourgeois, so what did you tell to the other friends? Did you tell other friends like this is something maybe you could use, other people can join here or something? Have you
Oh
tried?
yeah, I would invite people from the different, because I go to different places. I go to I practice with a Gelu group, and I practice with a Zen group, and I always invite people, come over. You've got to see this. You've got to experience this, and some have, and just I don't. It doesn't stick with everybody, but it's.
So when you see your friends coming to temple, you what kind of a comment did you hear from other people, sir?
What kind of comments? They enjoyed it. It's. I think for some people it's so. I'm going to say for Western people, for people who come from my culture, it's I mean, from my background. I mean, I'm sorry, but I just like it's so different that it's hard for people to wrap their minds around.
Right.
And so it's just like, I think people just say that was an experience and they'll just go on with the rest of their lives. But I think you see people like Gabe and Stacia, and they've just completely accepted it and completely have just like made that part of their how they experience life.
I like the word completely accepted. So that's how the like attachment, the attachment with the Newah Buddhism. So so until now you have learned so much stuff. Until now you have seen so much stuff. Until now you have seen the things going on, the practice going on, the chanting going on. So based on this your experience, what would you like to tell? We the Newah people sometimes they don't care about they don't care about keeping this for the next generation because of the modern civilization and all these things. But here in the US, we are dedicated to spread out this word for spreading the Buddhism, the Newah Buddhism, which is unique from the other country, other part of the world. So what message do you tell to the people who are not aware of the uniqueness of this culture or uniqueness of this religion?
It has to be continued. Like it's such a special thing it's gone from how many generations from Buddha Shakyamuni to now, and that the families and then the Newah Buddhists have kept this alive is a beautiful thing. And if it's not passed down, then it's going to die. It's an oral tradition, and it would just. The world would lose something special if this didn't exist.
So the reason I'm asking all these questions is because we have some kind of very sad story to tell you that Newah Buddhism is not flourishing as much as we need it. It used to be. Now later on, because of the political reason or some other reason, so we are the only one who protect our own places. There are so many Bihars in Kathmandu, so many Bihars in the Patan, Lalitpur, so many Bihars in the Bhaktapur, and so many outside Nepal, Kathmandu region. But they are in like not taking care of because of the financial situation, not because of the education. So we are kind of like in need of some kind of support from the Western part of the world that we need to make them aware that this is your culture, this is your tradition, this is your civilization. We need to protect that. So, but we are not aware of that. We the only few people aware of this, but a lot of people, the mass of the people, they are not aware of. We need to protect on that. What message do you give them to?
For how to protect it?
Yes.
Or for
yes, how to protect it. Bringing to US will be, or bringing to Western world will be the protected, or maybe it has to protect it the same place where it was, it was originated. So.
Well, I think to be protected, it has to be practiced. You can't keep it as a text. It has to be adopted. And I think it's going to spread. It's going to spread through grassroots. Like it's going to spread outside of the culture through temples like this, where people like me may have never have gotten a chance to experience something like this. But you can't just read. You can't read the protection chanting. You can't pull that off the wall and have a deep understanding of it. You have to again have to go back to that oral tradition. It has to be taught.
Okay, very good. Thank you. That's all I have. Thank you for participating. These will be documented later on, and then it will be, if it is acceptable, we will also send it to the television over there back in Nepal. Then I have to summarize and then take a few pieces from your saying and also from Stacy, and then it will be used for the propaganda, like spreading the Buddhism, Newah Buddhism, in the West and also in some other part of Nepal also. So we need to encourage the people to protect it. We need to encourage to do the texting, because there is no study in the school, there is no study in other places. You have to dedicate to study, otherwise it is not available in a regular school. So that's what we wanted to give a message to the people who have already born in that community, but they are not aware of how to protect it. Thank you for joining in this conversation. And then I love to have this more conversation later on when we need it later on. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Okay, this is it. So you don't go ahead on record, please.